Check this out, I used to hate cleaning my bedroom, so I hung this on my door. I am not cleaning it again. I think I'm going to use that actually now for Rach, hang that sucker on my door. Me dressed as Macho Man, real Macho Man. Me as Macho Man, you can barely tell the difference. As you can tell, I'm doing a bit of reminiscing, but these photos have really got me thinking. Have I actually changed since I was a kid and since I was a teenager? Apart from the hair, obviously. Well, I think I have. There's something that was really drilled into me in school, and I think it's something that has really held me back as an adult. And I think it's something that holds a lot of people back. This is going to be a controversial subject. When I was 11, the most traumatic and stressful day of my life up to that point happened. It was the entrance exam to a grammar school, and it's the same school that my brother went to, so my mum and dad understandably wanted me to go to that school as well. But I remember walking into a big hall full of desks and full of people already sitting down, and I remember walking in there with my little pencil case and just feeling sick to the pit of my stomach and just wanting to run out of there and escape. But anyway, I managed to get through the exam, I managed to pass. So the next traumatic day of my life, the second most traumatic day of my life actually up until that point, came a few weeks later, and that was the interview with the headmaster, the final interview to get into the school. And I remember him sitting me in a small room face to face with his chair right next to me, facing me. And he asked me all of these really challenging questions. Then he got me to read a passage from an article, and it was just full of words that I didn't understand, and I didn't know how to pronounce them, and it was just horribly stressful. That was when I started to develop the belief that the right way to communicate, that good communication, was basically speaking like a robot without any personality. The way that we were taught in school, and I'm not putting the school down in any way, it was a really good school, and I really appreciate, Mum and Dad, if you're watching, I really appreciate you sending us to that school. But the way that we were taught was very robotic. We read from textbooks that were completely lacking in personality. They were literally like they'd been written by a robot. A bit like this. Total synthesis may be accomplished either via a linear or convergent approach. In linear synthesis, oh my god, it's boring. So understandably, 7 years of that kind of communication and that kind of learning has an effect. So I really started to, the belief that good communication was about speaking like a robot basically was really cemented into me. And I didn't want to make any grammatic errors. I wanted to use clever language, to be very articulate, and that's what I believed good communication was about. So when I left school, everything that I did, the way that I wrote things, for example, my CV was written like a robot. There was absolutely no personality in it. And a few years later, when I started my first business, a boat cleaning business, the way that I would communicate with my customers was just completely lacking in personality. I remember emailing quotes over to customers and basically just trying to use the most impressive language that I could, because I honestly thought that would land me for work. When I started the boat cleaning business about 12 years ago, maybe even a little bit more now, it was really, really scary. It was my only way of surviving, basically, of paying the bills and eating. So every quote that I put together, I used to spend hours over, obsessing, trying to make sure that the wording was perfect and all the grammar was right, and trying to make sure that it was as impressive as it could be so that I won the work. And I remember a couple of years in, One evening I had 4 or 5 quotes to send. I'd just spent all day cleaning boats. I was completely knackered and I didn't want to spend all night writing quotes. So I decided to put these quotes together really quickly before I fell asleep and just get them sent out. Now the response that I had back from those quotes, I didn't expect to be any good because I thought they were pretty rubbish compared with my normal sort of obsessive, long, like really well worded quotes. But the response that I got back from the quick quotes was so much better than my normal responses. People replied in a really relaxed, kind of natural way, and I won all of the jobs. And that really made me think, why was it so much better? Why did I get good responses? I think when you write the way that you would speak to somebody face to face in a just completely relaxed, authentic kind of way, I think the barriers go down and people get a sense that this is just you, this is the way that you are, this is your personality, you're comfortable with it, you're confident about what you're saying, and it creates a sense of trust. So whenever you're communicating with anybody, whether it's through your website content or by email, anything, are you writing in a completely natural kind of way? Are you writing as you? Are you comfortable with what you're saying? Well, what I like to do, I call it the read out loud test. Whenever I write anything, I read it out loud back to myself. And if it doesn't sound completely natural, if it isn't like me talking to my best friend, talking to you in the way that I'm talking to you now, then I scrap it and I rewrite it in a natural kind of way. And I find that to be a much more effective way to communicate than the standard, robotic, corporate way of communicating that most people are using. Wait just a minute before you go. 2 things. First of all, if you've enjoyed this, do me a favour and hit like or leave a comment or subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Second of all, I've got some free stuff for you that I think you're going to enjoy as well. To get it, just go to the homepage of rickbwilliamson.com. There you will find whatever I'm giving away at the moment. It's likely to be some free training or a webinar or something like that. So that's it. Enjoy your free stuff. Go and get your free stuff. Have a cool day. Thanks for watching. See ya.